Okay, so it is 4 a.m. in the morning, and I just walked to the office, had a little bit of light insomnia, and thought, hey, let's read the Samson story. What a great story to start your day off. I think I'm going to finish the whole thing too. I think it's chapters 13 through 16 of Judges. We'll see. I'm just getting situated in my office. We'll make some coffee. It's Wednesday morning, so I usually do the Bible study, but I haven't been going to that lately. A very good friend does it, and it's great, but by the time I get back, it's like 7:40, and your mom has done all the work, and it's really hard, and I have to deal with, not deal, but your mom is kind of in a bad mood because she's been yelling at you kids the whole time. Well, that's not good for me. So I'm going to go with this Bible study. Making my caramel vanilla coffee. It is amazing. I think I have a Coca-Cola in the fridge, which I'm going to drink after my coffee. Yes, I do. So, Samson's a story you kids are going to... Hang on, let me just read some stuff. I'm sure you kids are going to hear about ad nauseum being raised in the church. And a lot of pastors get it wrong. And I'll tell you why later, but people always concentrate on the supernatural version, or not version, but part of the story. And it's an important part, but it's not the only part. And they concentrate on Delilah, who constantly tempts him. And that's an important part. That's not the only part. And it's not the part to run away with and be like, oh, well, women are seductresses, can't be trusted. Not the only part. One of the things that bothers me about Samson is not the story, but how youth pastors bastardize it and use it. More times than not, when I was in the youth ministry, you would hear youth leaders comment about girls' outfits, about how they're inappropriate and inappropriately tempting the boys there. I would stand up to these guys and say, well, tell your boys not to look. And they'll go, how can we stop them? It's like, well, you can. It's a sin for them. My dad would always say that looking once is okay, but looking twice is a sin. I think my dad was wrong on that. I think looking once with lustful eyes was wrong. But he would always say that. So many times these new little girls would show up to the youth ministry. It's a high school ministry. And they would be told by female leaders, hey, what you're wearing is not okay. On the first day they met them. These are little girls maybe from broken homes or from homes that don't understand proper attire, or maybe these were the only clothes they had. And now they're being told at a place of what's supposed to be love, you can't be here. What you're doing is wrong. And then we would never see them again. And I don't want that judgment on me, on my life. Luckily, the pastor at our church, who was the youth pastor, put a stop to that immediately. I think he heard one or two people doing that, and he said, no, we can't do that. I mean, you cannot do that. We have to open our ministry with love, and then later on instruct. I was very fortunate that we had we have a leader like that. So I don't want you guys to take away from Samson, this story of Samson, that women can't be trusted and they're all seductresses, and you need to beware of the women's intentions. It's an important role. It's an important part of the story, but I think the overall broader spectrum of the story of Samson is that, and you're going to hear about Delilah over and over again trying to do stuff to trap Samson for the Philistines. But I think what you guys should take away from Samson is that people are always going to show you who they are. Try and be wise enough to have them show you the first time. Samson was told multiple times through Delilah's actions what she was like. Multiple times. And the idiot just kept indulging her. Probably because she was hot. I think the Bible says she was attractive. We'll see. I forget. So what I'll tell you is, you guys are going to have relationships with people for the rest of your life. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. And people don't show you through words, they show you through actions. So if someone showed you who they were by actions, by betraying you, or betraying a trust, or cheating on you, or lying to you, or abusing you, emotionally or physically, believe them. Okay? Now, hang on a second. I'm going to blow my nose. It's like the worst. Also, if someone's abusing you physically, you're going to have to tell me. Hopefully I'm still around. I'm good with small spaces. I have no problem murdering for you guys. And you guys already knew that. So if someone's abusing you, you let me know. I don't care how old I am. I have a lot of friends that owe me a lot of favors. So that being said, let me put my reading glasses on. All right. Chapter 13, the birth of Samson. Let's see. And the people of Israel again, here we go, again did what was evil in the sight of the Lord. So the Lord gave them into the hand of the Philistines for 40 years. There was a certain man of Zorah, of the tribe of the Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren and had no children. The angel of the Lord appeared to the woman and said to her, "Behold, you are barren, and have not borne children, but you shall conceive and bear a son. Therefore be careful and drink no wine or strong drink, and eat nothing unclean. For behold, you shall conceive and bear a son. No razor shall come upon his head, for the child shall be a Nazirite to God from the womb, and he shall begin to save Israel from the hand of the Philistines." Then the woman came and told her husband, "A man of God came to me, and his appearance was like the appearance of the angel of God, very awesome. I did not ask him where he was from, and he did not tell me his name. But he said to me, Behold, you shall conceive and bear a son. So then drink no wine or strong drink, and eat nothing unclean, for the child shall be a Nazirite to God from the womb to the day of his death." Then Manoah prayed to the Lord and said, "O Lord, please let the man of God whom you sent come again to us and teach us what we are to do with the child who will be born." And God listened to the voice of Manoah, and the angel of God came again to the woman as she sat in the field. But Manoah, her husband, was not with her. So the woman ran quickly and told her husband, "Behold, the man who came to me the other day has appeared to me." And Manoah arose and went after his wife and came to the man and said to him, "Are you the man who spoke to this woman?" And he said, "I am." And Manoah said, "Now, when your words come true, what is to be the child's manner of life, and what is his mission?" And the angel of the Lord said to Manoah, "Of all that I said to the woman, let her be careful. She may not eat of anything that comes from the vine, neither let her drink wine or strong drink or eat anything unclean. All that I commanded her to let her observe." Manoah said to the angel of the Lord, "Please let us detain you and prepare a young goat for you." And the angel of the Lord said to Manoah, "If you detain me, I will not eat of your food, But if you prepare a burnt offering, then offer it to the Lord. For Manoah did not know that he was the angel of the Lord. Now remember, kids, I was telling you, the angel of the Lord is the pre-human form of Jesus. That's what theologians believe. And I'll look up the site on that. But so really we're talking to Jesus before he came to earth as a human. And Manoah said to the angel of the Lord, "What is your name, so that when your words come true, we may honor you?" And the angel of the Lord said to him, "Why do you ask my name, seeing it is wonderful? Why do you ask my name, seeing it is wonderful?" So Manoah took the young goat with the grain offering and offered it on the rock to the Lord, to the one who works wonders, and Manoah and his wife were watching. And when the flame went up toward the heaven from the altar, the angel of the Lord went up in the flame of the altar. Now Manoah and his wife were watching, and they fell on their faces to the ground. The angel of the Lord appeared no more to Manoah and to his wife. Then Manoah knew that he was the angel of the Lord. And Manoah said to his wife, "We shall surely die, for we have seen God." But his wife said to him, "If the Lord had meant to kill us, he would not have accepted a burnt offering and a grain offering at our hands, or shown us all these things, or now announced to us such things as these." And the woman bore a son, and called his name Samson. And the young man grew, and the Lord blessed him, and the Spirit of the Lord began to stir him in Mahanadan, between Zorah and Eshtaol. Samson went down to Timnah, and at Timnah he saw one of the daughters of the Philistines. Then he came up and told his father and mother, "I saw one of the daughters of the Philistines at Timnah. Now get her for me as my wife." But his father and mother said to him, "Is there not a woman among the daughters of your relatives, or among all of our people, that you must go to take a wife from the uncircumcised Philistines?" But Samson said to his father, "Get her for me, for she is right in my eyes." His father and mother did not know that it was from the Lord, for he was seeking an opportunity against the Philistines. At that time, the Philistines ruled over Israel. Let me take a sip. And Samson went down with his father and mother to Timnah, and they came to the vineyards of Timnah. And behold, a young lion came toward him roaring. Then the Spirit of the Lord rushed upon him, and although he had nothing in his hand, he tore the lion to pieces as one tears a young goat. But he did not tell his father or his mother what he had done. Then he went down and talked to the woman, and she was right in Samson's eyes. I love how they say she was right in Samson's eyes. Obviously, Samson was attracted. After some days he returned to take her, and he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion, and behold, there was a swarm of bees in the body of the lion, and honey. There's a weird noise outside. He scraped it out into his hands and went on eating as he went. And he came to his father and mother and gave some to them, and they ate. But he did not tell them that he had scraped the honey from the carcass of the lion. His father went down to the woman, and Samson prepared a feast there, for so the young men used to do. As soon as the people saw him, they brought 30 companions to be with him. And Samson said to them, "Let me now put a riddle to you. If you could tell me what it is within the 7 days of the feast, and find it out, then I will give you 30 linen garments and 30 changes of clothes. But if you cannot tell me what it is, then you shall give me 30 linen garments and 30 changes of clothes." And they said to him, "Put your riddle, that we may hear it." And he said to them, "Out of the eater came something to eat. Out of the strong came something sweet." And in the days they could not solve the riddle. On the 4th day they said to Samson's wife, "Entice your husband to tell us what the riddle is, lest we burn you and your father's house with fire. Have you invited us here to impoverish us?" And Samson's wife wept over him and said, "You only hate me. You do not love me. You have put a riddle to my people, and you have not told me what it is." And he said to her, "Behold, I have not told my father nor my mother. And shall I tell you?" She wept before him the 7 days that their feast lasted. And on the 7th day he told her, because she pressed him hard. Then she told the riddle to her people, and the men of the city said to him on the 7th day before the sun went down, "What is sweeter than honey? What is stronger than a lion?" He said to them, "If you had not plowed with my heifer, you would not have found out my riddle." And the Spirit of the Lord rushed upon him, and he went down to Ashkelon, and struck down 30 men of the town, and took their spoil, and gave the garments to those who had told the riddle. In hot anger he went back to his father's house, and Samson's wife was given to his companion, who had been his best man. What? Jeez. That's... what? What the heck? That's a little bananas. Okay, I don't... Hang on, I gotta read something. So, I guess after Samson killed all his people, his wife, who was a Philistine, was taken back by her father, and her father gave her to the guy that acted as Samson's best man, I guess another Philistine. More treachery. Chapter 15. After some days, at the time of wheat harvest, Samson went to visit his wife with a young goat, and he said, I will go in to my wife in the chamber. But her father would not allow him to go in, and her father said, I really thought that you utterly hated her, so I gave her to your companion. Is not her younger sister more beautiful than she? Please take her instead. And Samson said to them, This time I shall be innocent in regard to the Philistines, when I do them harm. So Samson went and caught 300 foxes, and took torches, and he returned them tail to tail, and put a torch between each pair of tails. And when he had set fire to the torches, he let the foxes go into the standing grain of the Philistines, and set fire to the stacked grain, and the stacked grain as well as the olive orchards. Then the Philistines said, Who has done this? And they said, Samson, the son-in-law of the Timnite, because he has taken his wife and given her to his companion. And the Philistines came up and burned her and her father with fire, O Lord. And Samson said to them, If this is what you do, I swear I will be avenged on you, and after that I will quit. And he struck them hip and thigh with a great blow, and he went down and stayed in the cleft of the rock of Etam. Then the Philistines came up and encamped in Judah, and made a raid on Lehi. And the men of Judah said, Why have you come up against us? They said, We have come up to bind Samson, to do to him as he did to us. Then 3,000 men of Judah went down to the cleft of the rock of Etam, and said to Samson, Do you not know that the Philistines are rulers over us? What then is this that you have done to us? And he said to them, As they did to me, so I have done to them. And they have said to him, We have come down to bind you, that we may give you into the hands of the Philistines. And Samson said to them, Swear to me that you will not attack me yourselves. They said to him, No, we will only bind you and give you into their hands. We will surely not kill you. So they bound him with 2 new ropes and brought him up from the rock. Then he came to Lehi. The Philistines came shouting to meet him. Then the Spirit of the Lord rushed upon him, and the ropes that were on his arms became as flax that has caught fire, and his bonds melted off his hands. And he found a fresh jawbone of a donkey, and put out his hand and took it. And with it he struck 1,000 men. And Samson said, With the jawbone of a donkey, heaps upon heaps. With the jawbone of a donkey I have struck down 1,000 men. As soon as he had finished speaking, he threw away the jawbone out of his hand, and that place was called Ramath Lehi. And he was very thirsty, and he called upon the Lord and said, You have granted this great salvation by the hand of your servant. I shall now die of thirst and fall into the hands of the uncircumcised. And God split open the hollow place that is at Lehi, and water came out from it. And when he drank, his spirit returned, and he revived. Therefore the name of it was called En-Hakor. It is as Lehi to this day, and he judged Israel in the days of the Philistines 20 years. So he was a judge for 20 years. You know, remember one of the youth leaders I actually worked with, what was his name? I'm not going to say it anyways. Yeah, I remember it. He had a heavy metal Christian rock band, and it was the greatest heavy metal Christian rock band I've ever heard. The greatest name. The name was called Jawbone Massacre. From the story. That's so funny. God, I love that. I mean, I didn't know what their music was about, but such a great name. Such a great name. Where are we? Got a chapter. We're going to end on 16. Let's see. Good. Timing looks good. Take another sip. Oh, boy. Oh, Samson, what are you doing? Chapter 16. Samson went to Gaza, and there he saw a prostitute, and he went in to her. The Gazites were told, Samson has come here, and they surrounded the place and set an ambush for him all night at the gate of the city. They kept quiet all night, saying, Let us wait till the light of the morning, then we will kill him. But Samson lay till midnight, and at midnight he arose and took hold of the doors of the gate of the city and the two posts and pulled them up, bar and all, and he put them on his shoulders and carried. There's another weird noise outside. And carried them to the top of the hill that is in front of Hebron. After this he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah, and the lords of the Philistines came up to her and said to her, "Seduce him and see where his great strength lies, by what means we may overpower him, that we may bind him to humble him, and we will each give you 1,100 pieces of silver." So Delilah said to Samson, "Please tell me where your great strength lies, and how you might be bound, that one could subdue you." And Samson said to her, "If they bind me with 7 fresh bowstrings that have not been dried, then I shall become weak and be like any other man." Then the lords of the Philistines brought up to her 7 fresh bowstrings that had not been dried, and she bound him with them. Now she had men lying in ambush in an inner chamber, and she said to him, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson." But he snapped the bowstrings as thread of flax snaps when it touches the fire. So the secret of his strength was not known. Okay, here's the first time Delilah showed herself who she really was to Samson. First time. I'm going to number them. Then Delilah said to Samson, "Behold, you have mocked me and told me lies. Please," and this is called gaslighting, children. "Please tell me how you might be bound." And he said to her, "If they bind me with new ropes that have not been used, then I shall become weak and be like any other man." So Delilah took new ropes and bound him with them, and said to him, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson." The men lying in ambush were in an inner chamber, but he snapped the ropes off his arms like a thread. It's the second time. And when she said, "You mocked and you told me lies," that's gaslighting. It's like, yeah, but you tried to kill me, so don't try and guilt me. Gaslighting in the Bible. Then Delilah said to Samson, "Until now you have mocked me," again more gaslighting, "and told me lies. Tell me how you might be bound." And he said to her, "If you weave 7 locks of my head with the web and fasten it tight in the pin, then I shall become weak and be like any other man." So while he slept, again, it's the third time, just already noting it down. So while he slept, Delilah took the 7 locks of his head and wove them into the web. And she made them tight with the pin and said to them, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson." But he awoke from the sleep, pulled away the pin, the loom, and the web. And she said to him, "How can you say, 'I love you,' when your heart is not with me? You have mocked me these 3 times, and you have not told me where your great strength lies." And when she pressed him hard with her words day after day and urged him, his soul was vexed to death. And he told her all his heart and said to her, "A razor has never come upon my head, for I have been a Nazirite to God from my mother's womb. If my head is shaved, then my strength will leave me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man." So it's like the 4th time she's told him who she was. When Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called the lords of the Philistines, saying, "Come up again, for he has told me all his heart." Then the lords of the Philistines came up to her and brought the money in their hands. She made him sleep on her knees, and she called a man and had him shave off the 7 locks of his head. Then she began to torment him, and his strength left him. And she said, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson." And he awoke from his sleep and said, "I will go out as at other times and shake myself free." But he did not know that the Lord had left him. And see, Samson wasn't strong. The Lord made him strong. He wasn't like some Superman. The Lord would come upon him in the spirit and make him strong. And the Philistines seized him and gouged out his eyes and brought him down to Gaza and bound him with bronze shackles. And he ground at the mill in the prison, but the hair of his head began to grow again after it had been shaved. So 4 or 5 times Delilah, and more than that, because Delilah kept asking, and she vexed him so much that he's like, "Fine, I'll tell you." After the 2nd time, Samson should have been, "You know what? Peace. Get out of here." And I'm going to finish this chapter, but it's interesting that, Samson was a judge over Israel because Israel broke their covenant with God. Well, God made a covenant with Samson, which was broken. And they're both going to get redeemed in the same way, Israel and Samson. Now the lords of the Philistines gathered to offer a great sacrifice to Dagon, their god, and to rejoice. And they said, "Our God has given Samson, our enemy, into our hand." And when the people saw him, they praised their God, for they said, "Our God has given our enemy into our hand, the ravager of our country, who has killed many of us." And when their hearts were merry, they said, "Call Samson that he may entertain us." So they called Samson out of the prison, and he entertained them. They made him stand between the pillars, and Samson said to the young man who held him by the hand, "Let me feel the pillars on which the house rests, that I may lean against them." Now the house was full of men and women. All the lords of the Philistines were there, and on the roof there were about 3,000 men and women who looked on while Samson entertained. Then Samson called to the Lord and said, "O Lord God," again, when the Israelites call on the Lord answers and comes back to them. And now Samson's calling to the Lord as well. It's like a mini microcosm of sin, acknowledgement, and then calling out to God. O Lord God, please remember me and please strengthen me only this once, O God, that I may be avenged on the Philistines for my 2 eyes. And Samson grasped the 2 middle pillars on which the house rested, and he leaned his weight against them, as his right hand on the one and his left hand on the other. And Samson said, "Let me die with the Philistines." Then he bowed with all of his strength, and the house fell upon the lords and upon the people who were in it. So the dead whom he killed at his death were more than those whom he had killed during his life. Well, that's a lot of people. Then his brothers and all his family came down and took him and brought him up and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol in the tomb of Manoah his father. He had judged Israel 20 years. That is the story of Samson. Not that long of a story. I thought it'd be longer. I thought it'd be more chapters. But it's a tragic story. Just close my eyeglasses. It's a tragic story, and I want you kids to really remember, and boys, of course, don't let, actually all of you, don't let someone being attractive cloud your mind as to who they really are. 42 right now, and there were so many girls in high school that were very, superficially attractive, very attractive, and I'll tell you more times than not, I've kept in touch with just through Facebook. I'm not trying to cheat on your mom, but I've kept in contact with a lot of them, just through Facebook, see how they're doing. Sometimes I give them some legal advice and stuff, and they do not age well. They just don't. Your mom, on the other hand, who God has given me in marriage, she is aged like a vampire, and she doesn't even age. She looks amazing today. It's hard for me to get out of bed. Your mom was there. My God. There's a reason there's 4 of you. I'm extremely attracted to your mom. And even better than that, your mom's a Christian woman. She fears God. She's the Proverbs 31 wife that I pray that you boys are blessed with, and you, my daughter, become. And I'm sure you will. You're only 11 right now. And you're already on your way. You've already shown me so many times how honorable you are. And it's lovely watching you. It's lovely watching you just all transform into the future adults I know you'll be. So it's about 4:30. I've only talked for about 30 minutes, I think. Let's see, how long am I doing? 28 minutes. It's a shorter podcast. What else? What other takeaways can I get from the Samson story? I'm hungry. I just love God, fear Him, do as is instructed. My father's favorite verse was, I took a picture of it. After my dad became a Christian, that night, he gave his heart to the Lord. He opened the Bible and he came to this verse. Every time I finish up one of these podcasts, I feel like, how do I end it? But I'm going to end it on another verse. This is my father's favorite verse, and we will eventually get to this. But the verse is, "Honor all men, love the brotherhood, fear God, honor the king." 1 Peter 2:17. Always believe who people are when they show you. Love Jesus Christ with all your heart, mind, and soul. be accepting of people and love them. And tell them about Jesus Christ. And sometimes, when all else fails, use words to tell them. And in everything you do it for the kingdom and the King. I love you.
Alone in my sorrow and dead in my sin, lost without hope, with no place to begin. Your love made a way to let mercy come in. When death was arrested and my life began, ash was redeemed, only beauty remains, and my orphan heart was given a name. My mourning grew quiet, my feet rose to dance. When death was arrested and my life began. Oh, your grace, so free, washes over me. You have made me new, now life begins with you. It's your endless love pouring down on us. You have made us new, now life begins with you. Released from my chains, I'm a prisoner no more. My shame was a ransom he faithfully bore. He canceled my debt and he called me his friend. When death was arrested and my life began. Oh, your grace, so free, washes over me. You have made me new, now life begins with you. It's your endless love pouring down on us. You have made us new, now life begins with you. Our Savior displayed on a criminal's cross. Darkness rejoiced as though heaven had lost. But then Jesus